Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio. All right, it looks like it's time for episode, what is this, 4? I'm losing track already. I believe episode 4 of Let's Mix Season 2. So if I remember correctly, last time we had left off, we'd done a little bit of work on the bass guitar and a little bit of work on the rhythm guitars. So this time, let's tackle some of the lead guitars. There's some clean guitars, there's some solos and everything, so let's do a little bit of work on those and see what we can end up with. Now, one thing that I have done is I've turned down the vocals. We've heard them enough for right now until we kind of get them addressed, but I've just turned them down. You can still hear them just so we can tell where in the song we are. But let's focus on these guitars, and I think that like this lead one part is definitely going to need some work. Let's zoom in on them a little bit. I'm going to scoot this out of the way. And yeah, let's take a listen here to lead one and see where our level is. A little loud. Okay, I don't mind so much where that's at, but I think like later in the song that may be a little loud. So let's listen to a little bit of lead in here, the first chorus, and into another guitar solo part here. Okay, I think I want the vocals back in there. Let me undo a few steps here, and I think I can get the vocals back to where they were. There we go. Okay, and I think I am just going to turn down just the lead vocal here. Because, yeah, and I remember we left off with that one, apparently was recorded at 2 different times, so the volumes are just hugely different between them, so that one's going to take a little farther work. So let's take him down, 6 or 8 dB, and we'll leave everything else where it was. I think I undid to where we can hear everything else, and let's kind of play the lead guitar off of the vocal volume, vocal loudness. Whoops. All right, good enough. Whatever. Okay, all right, let's hear it. Yeah, leading in from chorus 1 into this little solo part. For impetuous behavior, it is uneasy. Constant immorality. Yeah, since that solo part's going at the same time as some vocals, I think we want to bring that down. When it was by itself at the first of the song, yeah, that's fine, but now it has competition. So let's see, best way to do this, let's do a little automation. Let's do this here, and I want a volume, and let's make it nice and big. And yeah, starting at about where it's at there, let's add a couple of points here. Do this here. Man, I have been getting good at jacking that up. There we go. All right, so let's hear it, and I'll bring it up just by dragging this bar up. For impetuous behavior, it is uneasy. Constant immorality, it isn't easy. Okay, one more time. For impetuous behavior, it is uneasy. Okay, yeah, I kind of like where it's at, but what I don't like is really just kind of that overall tone of it. It's a little muddy. It's just kind of disappearing into everything, and it's kind of competing with those rhythm guitars a little bit too much. So I think the first thing I would do, if you haven't learned already, is probably chop the bottom end out with an EQ, and let's try that real quick. So low shelf, yeah, maybe let's just do a high pass. They're just kind of different degrees of the same thing. High pass is kind of the extreme. So let's turn the high pass all the way down, and let's hear this. Actually, let's go back to the intro, and let's hear it, and I'll start sweeping the high pass filter. Okay, yeah, and that's a pretty high frequency to put a high pass filter, at 400 dB for a guitar. But this guitar doesn't really have any part in the low end, even though the guitar by itself would sound better with that low end in it. We got to think of the context of the mix here. So I think I kind of like it with the low end chopped off right about there. And, that's going to take care of a lot of the mud that was in it. But it's still... It's just missing a little something. It needs a little kind of brightness. So let's kind of play around here. Let's on band number 4, let's turn that into a band. And let's kind of play around in this 2 to 5K area and see if we can't find some place to boost it, just to give it a little bit of presence in the mix without making it sound weird. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, yeah, I think I kind of like that best at around 5K, but as I was scooting it down there, I think I detected a little bit more of kind of an annoying frequency, so let's dedicate band 3 with a narrow bandwidth and let's just scoop the gain out, and let's sweep that around a little bit to see what that does. Okay, yeah, so I tamed that 5K peak just a little bit, or that 5K boost, and then just cut a little bit around, let's see, where is that? About 700 hertz or so. Cut a little bit more of that out. I don't know, I think that sounds okay. It gets it out of the way of all the rhythm guitars and stuff, gives it just a little bit more presence, and let's see if we can mess with the fader volume, with just the overall volume, and see if we can find a comfortable place for that to fit in. Okay, I tell you what, let's get it off to, let's see, it's 30% right, panning right now. Let's get it just a little bit farther out. Let's try 40%, see if that gives it just a little bit of its own room in the mix. Yeah, I'm still not settled on that, but I'm going to stop messing with it for right now and come back to it later. I think it's at least in the ballpark of where I want it, but it's just missing a little something. But I'm just wanting to give it its own little kind of spot in the mix there, and it's still just kind of mushing in with everything a little bit. So let me think about that one for a little bit. But what I do know is that that's going to be too loud now once it's competing with everything. So it looks like I have it down. So let's see, it's at -13 there, and it's at -17. So I've got it down about 4 dB as the chorus comes in. Let's hear this. It is uneasy. Constant immorality. It isn't easy. Okay, and actually, I think like right as the vocals stop, I might want to kind of bring it in a little bit louder just for that last little bit, because I like that little kind of seventh chord or whatever he's got going on there. I like the texture of that. I like the way it sounds. Let's see if we can identify about where that is.
It is uneasy. Constant immorality. It isn't easy.
So right about there. It's going to be actually a little bit before that. So we can see individual beats here. Not quite, maybe about here. Yeah, and so let's back it up one more measure. Right about there. Let's just kind of ramp it up a little. And maybe just give it another, let's see, so that was at minus 16. Minus 14.7, let's give it like 2 dB. Yeah, right about there. Let's see if that sounds awkward or anything with the volume ramping. Not too crazy about that. Let me dial that back down 1 more dB. All right, I want a little more subtle than that. Let's bring it in closer on the timeline. All right, okay, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. It's not 100% what I intended, but I think I'll let it ride for right now. This just looks really ugly right here. I have no idea what's going on. All right, let's hear that last one.
It isn't easy. It isn't easy. It isn't easy. It isn't easy.
Okay, yeah, and I think in this last little part here, I want it just a little bit louder, so let's listen to that come in.
It isn't easy.
Okay, yeah, I can't say I'm too crazy about that. I mean, it definitely looks sloppy, but hey, it's not about how it looks, it's about how it sounds. I'm okay with how it sounds for right now. So let me, I'm just gonna take this, hide all the envelopes for that one. We'll consider that okay for right now. And let's move on to lead number 2. So what is this fella doing? Let's hear some of him.
Fella, take it seriously.
Okay. And I think we could probably use just a little bit more of him. Let's see, he's currently at minus 18.2. Let's just kind of listen a little bit.
Fella, take it seriously. Fell in love with the comedy.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm okay with where he's at, and then his other part over here.
With a Pyrrhic victory. Hamstrung rationality.
He may be just a little bit too far out, so I've got him at 50% left. Let's bring him in to about 35% or so.
With a Pyrrhic victory. Hamstrung rationality. Entrench this new mentality.
Okay, but yeah, he definitely needs a little bit of something. So for, all right, let's start off with some EQ. And first, let's just kind of hear it soloed and just hear what we're dealing with. Start off with a high pass, or yeah, high pass. Okay, yeah. And he kind of has the song to himself a little bit right there, but I think the bass is still going. Playhead's right there. Let's go find the bass. And here's the stem of the bass. And yeah, bass is still going right there.
With a Pyrrhic victory, hamstrung rationality, entrench this new mentality.
Yeah, there's something there. I think he's a little lacking in the mids, but I'm not so sure we can add any mids and get any good effect there. So let me just take a band. I'll pick band number 3 here. I'm just gonna kind of sweep him around a little bit. Let's put him back on solo. Let's see, he's lead number 2. So yeah, let's solo him again. Listen to him, and yeah, loop is on. So yeah, we'll just keep hearing that part. So let's just listen to him, mess around with the EQ band here. It's right around in there. Okay, let's hear it in context.
With a Pyrrhic victory, hamstrung rationality.
Okay, yeah, a little bit better. So it, took a pretty good chunk out there, centered around about 770 hertz or so. Pretty close to that 1K area. It just sounded a little boxy, I guess. So yeah, just dug a little bit of that out, and yeah, we'll just kind of see how it goes, see how that lays in with everything. Hey everybody, yeah, editing this one yet again. It just ran so long that I'm gonna chop this one in half and pick it up where we left off next week. All right, so next week we'll get to the clean guitars, and I can't quite remember, but a couple things after that. All right, we'll see you then.